Well, let me have a rule and a saw and a board and I'll cut it. I'll climb up a ladder with a hammer and a nail and I'll nail it. Well, we worked so hard to build a little house together. In the snow or the rain or the ice cold wind, whenever. No matter what the weather, we're together. Let me have a rule and a saw and a board and I'll cut it. Climb up a ladder with a hammer and a nail and I'll nail it. Well, we worked so hard to build a little house together. In the snow or the rain or the ice cold wind, whenever. No matter any weather, we're together.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be actually going over the next game, Qiāngxiá, a game about cultivating your inner peace with a big iron on your hip and using iron rifle stands to punch someone to death with. It's going to be a weird game because I'm going to be doing effectively what can best be described as Western Wuxia, and that's kind of the point. I want to see if I can more than anything. Because if you really think about it, and I did when I went over the Wuxia games, I kind of thought about it a little bit more. At the end of the day, a traditional Qiāngxiá, pretty much someone, you know, outside the norm, kind of a weird hero who enforces their own will in classic Wuxia fiction, is pretty much the stereotypical cowboy of how we think of them. The iron badass who walks into town ruled by the evil oil baron, and he haws his way through his problems with a big iron on his hip. That's kind of the entire point. So I'm like, why not do both? Also, I get to go boink, Goodbye, Satan War Snakeskin. You were very fun to write, but you are done now, and I never have to think about you again. I'm going to have to think about it again. I guess I should do some updates on everything. We have the voting going on currently. That's a big thing. The voting has begun, and currently, let's check. Let's check, everybody, what the voting is currently. Let's go to January Notocracy. Let's see. We have 14 votes currently. It's currently we have a tie between by Blade and Cross and Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil, which is actually kind of surprising. I actually wasn't expecting the Viking farming sim to get that much. Unfortunately, Song of the White Carnations isn't doing too hot, but regardless, vote. This is the other really surprising one. We have 8 votes for Glitter Break and only 6 votes for Lisa. I was actually expecting Lisa to do pretty well, but a lot of people seem to really enjoy Glitter Break, which that's kind of surprising on my book anyway. For the official, for the voting booth for the real human beings, currently we have a 3-way vote between Songs of the White Carnations, the Utopia Wars, and a Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil. By Blade and Cross actually isn't popular among the representational democracy that I've established. But we also have complete, 100% on Glitter Break, which I'm actually, again, pretty surprised about. I have to still upload the one for the patrons, my 2 patrons. I love them both to death. They actually have quite a bit of voting power. And as such, they can actually switch these votes pretty gradually. But that's kind of where it is now. We have a week to go on that one. The only other game currently, which I'm going to be working on tomorrow as the Saturday extravaganza weekend warrior, is Super SS Mortus. But I'm just going to do a quick thing right here. Currently, we're doing pretty solid. I've done a little bit of work. I'm going to go over that a little bit more. Generally speaking, it's been just a lot of getting things into position for this weekend. Have all the wounds and all that jazz. I need to kind of put a big old thing right here, just kind of explaining everything. But this is what needs to be done here. Pretty much just some more traveling sections, what combat actually looks like. I call them struggles now. How medicine actually works and how you're actually supposed to take care of yourself. As well as survival to living, which is fortification, mechanics, and equipment, which is all going to be based around that same kind of card system, you could say. Not really a card system, but like a paper. I'm going to make a little paper puppet, effectively, of you going through and how your character actually is. Also for things like your house and things like and fixing cars, because guess what? You may say, wow, it's really cool having this massive house. Massive house. It also means you have a lot more doors to worry about, and a lot more windows to worry about. And then we're going to go over, I'm going to have a few mutations, but they're going to be kind of different in the way they operate. And survivors, obviously, because getting shot in this game should feel dangerous. I have pretty much 2 days to get this done. Like, I have very little time to get Super SA Mortis done. But I'm going to, which is probably going to be a big day tomorrow, which is I'm just going to sit down and just do it. But we're working on Qiāngxiá today. or in the, like, atrociously bastardized translation is Gunhero, which is going to be, again, as you can see right here, it's a Wuxia Western, and I want to have these ideas. It's the idea of martial arts, guns, true grit, larger than life characters, and with a little bit of cultivation bullshit in there. Now, one thing about it is I actually remembered a part of another game I was working on, and this was Fists of Chaos. Way back in the game, Fists of Chaos, I had some sample styles, which I called the Western styles. And they were shit like, Shotgun Fist. What was it? It was Shotgun Fist, the revolver style. What was it? It was like rifle kick. The Shanghai Noon RPG to a degree. Did somebody already make what I'm looking? Because I've been kind of working out with nothing much, working at it. Or yeah, pretty much. This is almost exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'll have to try to find this movie. I've been trying to find more of these kind of movies. I haven't been able to actually find that many of them. So even just finding something like this is very nice. But yeah, this is effectively what this entire game is going to be. Down to the point, also, hi pig, by the way. Down to the point where I'm going to be converting almost the entire martial arts style into being a gun. Because if you think about it, your stock is your stance, your trigger is the fist or the kick, and the entire thing is you pull the trigger when you're going ham. That's the entire idea, with the overriding joke of the entire setting is nobody knows what came first, martial arts or a gun, so they just kind of associate them together. Like, the one big thing what I want to get across, and if I can make it work, I will have succeeded in this game. If I can make it work, punching a bullet out of the air. Not like the reverse hasn't been done with Jet Li movies and Gun Fu. Yeah, to a degree. But I kind of want to have like the entire thing with like just the silly ridiculousness. Not quite Gun Fu. I was looking at Equilibrium the other day. I'm like, one thing I noticed with a lot of those games, a lot of those movies, is that they're semi-autos. It's not like someone with a fucking like lever action rifle that you have to worry about, or like, here's my double barrel real fast. But one thing I want to do is I want you to be able to punch a bullet out of the air. And the other big thing is I want you to shotgun punch. For those who don't know, shotgun punching is a phenomenon in Ultra Kill, in which if you shoot your shotgun and then counter punch it real fast, you will rocket the bullet faster. Why does that work that way? It was a coding error, because you pretty much could counter your own move, but he put it in as like a legitimate thing. So that's one thing I actually kind of want to do, is just amplify. Hey, I love Ultra Kill. Fuck you. I love that game. I find it really fun. I will say it's not for everybody, though. I will say that. It's not for everybody. But, like, one thing I was thinking about doing is, instead of, like, coming up with all of these different martial arts styles myself, because that can kind of bloat things up a little bit, it was, let's see, Fists of Chaos. Where were we? Fists of Chaos. There we are. I was going to actually use some of the aspects from Fists of Chaos, notably the entire idea of making your own styles, which is, I want to be kind of a big idea. I'm not going to use Fists of Chaos as necessarily its system, because I think this works for this, but I want to use the idea of the style creation a little bit more to help you build what you want to do. If you want to make a really fast, martial arts style based entirely around like leaping in there and punching someone in the nose, go for it. But if you want to make drunken fucking shotgun style or whatever, and just drunken box your way to victory while also having two guns in your hands, I can't stop you, nor do I want to stop you. That's the point. I want it. So that's one thing I do plan on doing slightly. I think that could kind of help people build what they want to do, as long as it's kind of this over ridiculous, I want it to be comedic. That's like going to be one thing about this. Fist of Chaos style creation. Where was it? So I want it to be right here. Comedic in tone. Effectively, you're going to be playing a Jackie Chan movie, because you pretty much just put that in my mind, and now it just kind of works for what I'm going for. These two, I think, are going to work just fine. The kind of the Manchurian West and kind of the Weird West. For some reason, that got locked. Put you right up there. Now we have the problem of, like, me not quite knowing the system, because one way of the system I was looking at it was we could do a, pretty much a D6 system, pretty much just a dice pool system, out rolling a shit ton of dice. Alternatively, one of the other ways I was thinking about doing it is possibly even a D12 system. D12 is a little bit of a weird dice, so it would be effectively D12 plus whatever your power level or whatever is currently. So you might be rolling D12 plus D6 is like just your base check to do things. With that kind of in the vague idea of you're always rolling this one really big dice and this little dice, and kind of getting that up there. The ranges can get a little bit weird, because even like D12 plus D4, like a basic check, you'd have a range effectively from 2 to 16. And this is only going to get worse the more you actually add to it. So it's going to go from, like, even adding to 2, there, go to 2 to 18. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does bulk up the numbers sometimes, and it does gravitate toward a very weird equilibrium, which could work. Because roughly an average D12 is going to be about 6.5, which at that point you end up with things like 3.5, and the math gets a little bit wonky. So that's what I was thinking about doing, is just making a D12 system, because it's weird, and I've never actually done a D12 system. Like a dedicated D12 system, I think could be interesting. Let's actually see. A D12 system TTRPG. What do we got to work with here? 2011, 2018. Oh, wow, this is... Edith. Oh, no. Oh, no. What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this someone's, like, dissertation? Wait. Okay, we're going... I wasn't planning on this. For the purpose of these rules, the male shall embrace the female. Is just... Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Mansfield. Who are you? Okay, that website doesn't exist. Do you exist? See, this is where it's like people.math ETHCCH. Like, what the fuck is this? ETH Zurich. Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Why is the Swiss Institute of Technology? Wait, what? This is 2011, too. IG Mansfield. Yeah, because everything is... It's this. This is all you're working... This is 2011. You have D12, critical fail, fail, partial success, success, critical success. What the hell? IG Mansfield. Zurich. Mansfield University. What? No, that can't be it. IG Mansfield. JD Evans. I think this Evans guy, because, yeah, Evans J. IG Mansfield. Yeah, I think these are their personal websites. This motherfucker is using his, like... Is this it? Is this Evans? This is just JD Evans. Bio. Do you say are you from Zurich? No. Okay, you're not from Zurich, apparently. Are you? now I'm just curious, because of, like, 2011, because, like, let me think. Lumen came out in... When did Lumen come out, officially? Lumen came out in 2021, in April. So, with Light coming out in 2020. Powered by the Apocalypse. When did Powered by the Apocalypse? 2010. So, this is an oldie. Like, this is 2011. Like, this came after, like, a 12 hit points. What else? What? Traded for skill ranks. What the sweet baby Jesus is this? Like, yeah, no, this has to be... Huh. Yeah, I think this is just kind of like some weird precursor project. I'm fascinated by this on complete accident. See, this is why I like going on weird adventures and trying to find weird shit. Yeah, you're going in here. You're going into my folder. Yes, it's just here. I just Googled this, by the way. I did it just right here. Wait, actually, where are you from? You know, we're on a magic adventure, everybody. Edrith.co.uk. What are you, Edrith? So who? Edrith. So Edrith would be... Okay, with JD Evans. So this is the first guy. So this is Mansfield. Is Edrith. What? What in God's name? What? Tell me about the flames of Edrith. Yeah, okay. So I guess this is just some system he wrote for the guy from Zurich or a lady from Zurich. I can't tell. This is 431 pages. Holy shit. What the fuck? Alright, you know what? Screw it. We're this is welcome to my folder. Alright, fuck it. Apparently this is 3rd edition. This came out in 2005. Oh, this version's from 2012. Oh, no part of the... It was 6 pages. Even one side I decided... I wonder if that was Johnny Evans for his wonderful cover. Is this like this is a real game? Tell me this is... What the fuck is going on up here? Flames of Edrith. This has to be like a real... I guess it is? No, this isn't a real thing. This isn't a book. This isn't real. Yeah, look, this isn't real. Nothing is here. So, Board Game Geek. This is the only thing that's available. Strange. Okay, I've been distracted by me going down the fucking rabbit hole too much. I can't do this to myself. Yeah, 2005. But it was since 98. This game is older. This game is almost as old as I am. That's a fascinating thing, because let's see, they were 14 in 98. So they would be 16 in 2000. And in 2005 they would be 21. And then flash forward 15 years, they would be 36. They're 38 now. They started this when they were 14. They are 38. Fascinating. And that means if they're 38 in 2022, you subtract 11 years, that means they would be 27 when they wrote the first one. We went over the D12 RPG. Which would mean that put them right in college, probably with a master's degree. Yeah, that works. Huh, interesting. Okay, so let's do... I think I'm going to do the D12 system. I think the D12 system is going to work. But we're going to do D12 as kind of like our base die. You know, plus whatever our, maybe like a cultivation die or something. Ranging from D4 to D12. That's kind of like how powerful you are in general. Also kind of setting the tone already. Higher your cultivation die, the stronger you are, the more shit you can pull off. Maybe we do like a skill die even. That could work. Just make everything dice based. No hard numbers. Like, so no hard numbers, everything is dice based. We can kind of amplify that gambling aspect, kind of what we see in a lot of Western movies. Just make everything gambling based. So, like, skill would go from D4 to D12. Like, your cultivation die, D4 to D12. So, let's say I want to, like, pick a lock or something. I would roll my D12 plus whatever my cultivation is, let's say D4, plus whatever, like, my larceny skill was, which would be, like, D6. I would just roll this. The numbers can get really dumb here. I do know that for a fact. It can get really stupid. Unless... Because the thing is, like, anytime you add a die, you add a range. Like a D6, for example, is 1 to 6. D4 is 1 to 4, and D12 is 1 to 12, obviously. You just add more range. So, in total, what this is kind of ending up being, like, you are going to roll with this very basic roll, a 3 to 22. Like, a 3 to 22, that's a pretty huge range. So, unless we put in something like... See, the first part of me would say, put in a success system. Where it's like 4 up, you score a success or whatever. And that means you can only get a certain amount of successes per dice roll. That means you'd want to get more dice to get more successes, unless we make it. Or barbarian dice. Let me think. What would be... We make it chaotic. We build a weak spot number range. So, let's think. I want to make a basic check. I would roll whatever. Do I want to have... Fuck, do I even want to have attributes? That's a completely different fucking argument. Do I even want to have attributes because of how the system is looking right now? Maybe though. Like, what is blackjack dice? Range, maybe. Do you propose an interesting idea? So it's kind of like the idea of the expansion of the range. So emphasize the gambling aspect? No, that's not a good idea. Let's see. Like, blackjack dice shouldn't be that complicated, so we want to do blackjack dice resolution system. So maybe we can actually add that in as an idea. So maybe something like... maybe the goals hit a certain range more than anything? That could be a weird, maybe a weird mechanic, but... So if your goals hit a certain range, let's say D12, so we know we wanted this to be our base dice. We wanted this to be a D12 system at its core. What's the cultivation dice going to be doing? Maybe drop the cultivation die to tie that more to the style. So the style itself is going to have style die / skill die. And then maybe hit like add in the tension die. Plus a tension die, for example. And tension die we can use for the idea of like how intense things are going and you're rolling more damage. No, that's not. Fuck. That's a good idea. We can keep things simple or we can go a little bit complex. That's the question right now. Do we want to keep things simple or do we want to keep things complex? If we keep things simple, what I would do is just make it like it's pretty standard, just roll over target number. Just make it a fairly standard target number based system. I understand what you're going for here with like the determine like a range, but I'm like, how do I even do that properly? To actually make it feel good. is we want to emphasize the bullshit. We want, like, this is... System is supposed to... Besides over-the-top comedic elements. You're kind of making a Jackie Chan movie. That's what that's what the system is going to boil down to, is how do I make a Jackie Chan movie? Which could be interesting. Let's think. Style die, but then we can actually we add in a... I'm gonna have to come up with a stupid name for like chi plus grit die, with the idea of maybe a... Or we just make everything opposed rolls. Borrow a little bit more from Fist of Chaos. Just build every single thing is an opposed roll. That could be really dumb. That could be really dumb. I actually kind of like that though. Because if we make everything an opposed roll, so what this would be, it would be most of the time it's going to be D12 plus let's say. Like a standard roll might be D12 plus D6 versus D12 plus D6, D10 or whatever. So it's kind of like, here's just this base roll versus this. Or if anything, we could just make it like a... But then that's how you kind of can change up the rolls a little bit, the difficulty up. You might say it might be base D10 plus D10 for like the base difficult, like... Oh no, it's in the... Oh, you're trying to sneak through the bandit camp, but they totally know they're expecting you, so it's going to be D10. It's going to be... The base difficulty is going to be D10, with the added difficulty of being that, which you can have as little as D0, which is the idea of like, you're going to get this. It's going to be fine, because there's no exterior problem. So it's kind of like the primary plus secondary. We could actually add the bust mechanic. We have bust mechanic, which is the idea of being too good at the situation. So if you ever roll over, let's say like 21 or something, the entire idea is that you're too skilled at the thing and something goes wrong. Because that's the appropriately comedic thing to occur. That does kind of prevent power gaming in a way. So you're not just stacking a bunch of dice together. Actually. Chinese numerology. Give me my Chinese numerology, damn it. I should know these by now. I've consulted this so goddamn much. Let's see. God damn it, these numbers are huge. Yeah, I know 4 is like the big no-no number. Icing time? I don't know. Or we drop the bus mechanic. I'll have to think on that one. That can be weird, or I can make it a little bit simpler. So yeah, I think this could work. So the entire idea is that most of the time you're going to have D12s. However, we can also tie this into... We can actually tie this into the health system. Because again, I'm trying to avoid flat... That's the core idea. Avoid flat values. I don't want a +5 or like a 15 health or something. No, I want to avoid flat values. So how are we going to do this? Well, effectively, your health is going to tick down. It's going to be kind of a spin down mechanic in a way. Because if we do a spin down mechanic, actually, let's check this out real fast. Because 10 is usually considered a good number. Because it's 1. Because 0 is good and 1 is good, so 1, 0 would be technically. So, but we can also make things, let's see, is 8 okay? So 8 is okay. Then 6 would be slick or smooth. But 4 is like the oh no, oh god, make it end. Make it end, oh fuck. That's kind of your cutoff point. Let's see. Then things, yeah, so that's kind of your bad news. Bad news bears once you hit D4, because at that point you're like real fucked up. Because if we tie all the health together like this, so this is going to be, I don't know, we can call this something like wholeness or something. Wholeness health. What's going to prevent you from just wanting to get as much dice as possible? So we can actually do, maybe we can tie it to the dice in general. While rolling more dice could be good, it also exacerbates the possibility of failure. Of just like a dramatic fuck up. So let's do something like, so D12 system. D12 system. D4 to D12 for skills / styles. Anytime you're going to be making any kind of move, you're going to be doing that. With the idea of a chi / grit mechanic, which is going to be you draw from the die. Actually, what we could do, which is going to be like D12, and then steps down every time you use it to finally D4. So you always want to use the chi / grit mechanic. You want to use it to actually like power some things, but it's going to gradually start ticking down. Until you start spamming it where it doesn't do anything anymore. which we can, the entire game is going to be opposed rolls. Opposed rolls for everything, because if we do opposed rolls for everything, we can tie this right here, which is weapons and style. Weapon and styles reduce health quickly, but there's a lot of ways to defend yourself. That's kind of the core idea. Getting hit is bad, but you have ways to defend yourself. Unless we do the entire idea of ticking down. Like you always are ticking down slowly. Maybe... So I think the chi and grit mechanic, I think this is going to help in the long run, because it's not like, well, I'm just going to spam it out, because it's going to be somewhat like a meta currency. The idea is that you're constantly using this dice is slowly reducing to the point of uselessness. So if you burn it all right away, it's not going to be very handy for you anymore. Maybe we can also tie it to a... Because I want to use long arm of the law style. Someone's going to punch me, and someone's going to hit me. Round start, he jumps in, he's going to kick me in the face. I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to try to break out of there. Unless we tie styles. Styles can be defensive or offensive. Offensive with the idea of like, so let's see, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so okay. If we use this, like as a D6 being average, so you can kind of shift your style into being more aggressive or defensive. So if we have like a hyper aggressive style at like D10, that means anytime I'm using it on the defense, it's only going to be a fucking D2. It's going to be terrible when defending myself, but it's going to be great when I'm trying to actually beat the shit out of you. So yeah, that could work. Hello, Draco. This is Qiāngxiá, otherwise known as Gunhero, which is going to be a Western wuxia, because I want to make a Western game and I want to make a wuxia game, so I'm saying, why not both? And it's kind of a little bit more comedic is what I'm kind of aiming for right now. A lot more about building a bunch of kung fu systems to beat the shit out of each other. So far, I'm trying to work on like the core mechanic, which I've boiled down to a D12 system. And it's, yeah, kind of like a Jackie Chan movie. A little bit more comedic. It's comedic, but it's also going to be like, oh, hey, I need to use my, I'll beat them using the power of friendship and this gun I have. Kinetic or narrative. I'm going to try to aim for kinetic design. A little bit more kinetic based, not as narrative. Mostly just because, like, the idea behind it is, like, you're going to you're jumping into this section, you're going to start fighting one another, and it's all about doing kung fu moves, rather than, telling, like, oh, let's do the martial arts movie. No, it's about kung fu moves and, karate chopping someone's face out. I would say I wouldn't say I would be leaning toward kinetic, but a little bit of narrative in there just because I can't really add much else. Because the system is already being a little bit wonky. So if we do that with styles, and we can shift it in either direction, do we want to do special moves and abilities. Special moves and abilities, maybe. Like, the one thing I'm kind of trying to make work right now is, like, we have this D12 system. I know how it's going to work. The problem is I'm scared people are just going to, like, jack up, like, one thing and just never do anything else. They're going to be making, like, one kind of roll. So I'm like, do I add in, like, a mechanic, like, hey, you're too good at this? Or, like, oh, hey. Because everything is going to be dice-based. There's going to be no flat numbers. I'm also going to have to come up with a stupid name for Qi and Grit. Kind of combine the two together. So maybe if we add in a... How do I want to do this? Actually, I could have like a clash mechanic. That could work. Maybe like, maybe something like a spread / clash mechanic, with the idea being that dice in order are good, but dice that are the same, actually no, that just prevent you from wanting to roll any lower dice. Because like one of the ideas would be like, if I roll a, like if they roll a 4, 5, and 6 versus, and then they roll a 5, 7, 8, both of our 5s would go away. That's the idea of a clash. So I'd be left with like, oh no, they beat me by a good amount because they just have that. They're just better than... That doesn't quite work. Unless we just keep it like this. Special moves and abilities trigger more on specific die values. I don't know why I'm so caught up on this. I really shouldn't be specific. If we do the style creation method, we're going to be able to do this, this, and this. Firearm rules are going to be a little bit weird, but if we tie firearm rules into this idea, it's going to be the idea of like you employing like the type of gun and style are one and the same. So, like, if you choose to adopt the rifle style, you're going to be able to use rifles better than if you were able to use, like, handguns. Just simply because that's what you prefer to use. That's something you want to do. Now we have to ask, unless, like, style switching. Style switching costs resource, question mark? So the idea is that you're kind of stuck in one style unless you like deliberately go out of your way to switch the style up a little bit. That could work. Unless we just do it time-wise. But you're already going to have ammo. So actually, what we can do, I know we can tie it to an ammo mechanic. So the idea is not only do you have physical ammo, like, hey, my gun only has so many shots in it, you can have a theoretical, kind of a metaphorical ammunition idea of, I can only do this so many times, I can only string so many dice together before I have to reload, before I kind of have to reset myself back a little bit. Kind of like you can pull off these crazy combos with a bunch of different moves, but you're going to have to reset. You have to reload yourself, which kind of plays into the lore so far, which is no one knows what came first, the gun or the gun or martial arts. So this game is going to be primarily going to be resource driven in cost, and it's going to be entirely dice based. Entirely dice based, a little wonky, a little goofy, and not at all balanced. But that's half the joke. That's not supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to just be silly. It's supposed to be kind of goofy in some aspects. How do I work this? Maybe like kind of like a permanent G grit mechanic? Grit chi? Grit chi sounds terrible. Because if you go under the idea of like what like chi is at the end of the day. Chi is like circulating life force. But then you do, you know, grit. You know, the power of passion and perseverance. So like true grit. I actually saw this movie. It wasn't half bad. Oh yeah, there's The Foreigner, which I thought was a completely different movie because there's a movie that is the exact same, came out at the exact same time. It was very weird. So yeah, he could actually, I could probably come up with some very bad combination of these to pretty much make them the same thing. Because if grit's just perseverance, chi's kind of like your life force. It'd be perseverance of life force. Pretty much using that to that, or I just call it gunpowder, life powder. There we go. Have no fear, it's my life-giving gunpowder. I'm gonna cultivate inner peace with my big iron. I feel like I'm missing something. Because Fist of Chaos is a lot more about kind of the over-the-top battles of fighting games. That's kind of the entire idea behind it. Not necessarily like Wuxia stuff. I wonder, do I have a game in my repertoire? Do I got something to work with? Do I have something to work with? Let's go to fantasy. Some Art of Wuxia. This is a D100 light system. Magic item creation, chi, alchemy. Is there an answer to this question? Or more importantly, does there need to be an answer currently? That's also another very good question. Does there really need to be an answer? I need to get this fucking video done. I know I know exactly what I want to say here about Wandering Heroes, and that I like Wandering Heroes. The only unfortunate part is that there's a lot of Wandering Heroes, which is going to really turn people off. So maybe put in some factors like this. Let's see. So like light, we could do light, heavy, and external and gun varieties of kung fu. Because if we use the power of the gun kung fu, that's literally just using your gun as a method of beating someone to death with. And this gun I found, let's see, that's not it. There is an answer, and I don't know what it is. There is an answer. It's in Righteous Blades, the one I didn't like very much, even though I really wanted to like Righteous Blades. Are you... is my answer in here? I don't think so, but... It's always one of those things, like, you clearly understand what you, like, the problem you're having. You can see it in your head, but you don't know the solution. And, like, the one thing I'm worried about, people are gonna, like, just spam out things, and they're just gonna be rolling the high, like, they're just gonna be rolling as much dice as they want, so I'm like, is there, like, a way I can prevent that? But maybe I don't need to prevent that, because we're gonna have the ammo mechanic, as well as the grit mechanic, chi grit mechanic, and just maybe have maybe just don't have that many skills. That could work. Just have kind of like a lower amount of skills and kind of use these styles as more of a, both of as a description as a non-description. So like a light style, for example. So a light style may be all about being very movement oriented, being very, you know, you're kind of closing the distance, you're moving around a lot. Well, having a heavy style is about doing a lot of damage. External style is really about using your body around, and that's like grappling, that's throwing someone, you know, that's grabbing someone, and, you know, power slamming them behind you, or, you know, kicking them through walls. It's about using things in the environment more than anything. While gun is about using your gun, the thing that you have on your holster that you use to shoot people. That's your gun kata abilities. Those are your that's the best way to kind of summarize a gun style would be, you know, hitting your, you know, your lever action, and then like using your lever action rifle to beat the shit out of people in an overly dramatic way, or like using your double barrel shotgun, you know, reloading your double barrel using someone's face. Like, that's the entire point. It's a little bit silly, but a little bit, you know, there. If we wanted to go for it, we can have the idea of like the guns are very defined, but the styles aren't. Okay. We're gonna need, actually, we're gonna need, we will put in a decent amount of skills. So we're just gonna do a decent amount, maybe like 12 skills. But those skills are gonna be a little bit hard to develop. Okay. Those rolls for everything. Okay, I think I'm feeling pretty decent about it. I'm gonna have to think about some things. I think these two are gonna be the big things I have to worry about. Just the idea behind chi and ammo and kind of how I want things to go. Because I want to have like the combo mechanics. Like I want you to I don't want it to be like I walk up, I punch him in the face. Okay, next turn I get to do something else. I want it to feel a little bit more. I want to have that flow in there, that you're always kind of moving forward. You're always doing something to do something else. And I can implement that in like a weird initiative system where everyone's going really fast and the entire idea is like a tick system, maybe. Like tick combat might work. That could work. But yeah, okay, I'm feeling pretty decent. I think I know how I want to do this now. It's gonna be a little bit weird, but you know what? That's half the fun, right? The fun part is learning what things are probably going to blow up in my goddamn face. Let's see. So yeah, okay, feeling good there. So what's on the list now? What needs to be done right away? So roughly speaking, we're doing pretty solid. I think things are making pretty good progress all around. I should also make sure that you're the right color. Yeah, things are good. I did get contacted that someone may want to do a commission, though they were kind of fucking memeing, so it's hard to get a good read sometimes on people when there are what we like to affectionately refer to as a meme the fuck out of me. Let me see. Let's see what people are really looking for. This is what they're this is the plan. This is what I was contacted today by a bunch of Russians to do. They want I should actually say there we go. A flavorful Coomer cyberpunk skirmish game with a grappling hook, heavily influenced by Ruiner and Mordheim. It is miniature agnostic, but also not. I should also add this because they said this was okay. And so it used to be the only requirement was that there was going to be no Asian women in trench coats, but that has been changed to just, it's okay. It just has to be a Coomer game. So that's what's been required of me. And they were going to pay me $9 a month for the production of this game. $9 a month plus $60 for this. However, it will be in Polish money, so I don't know if that's going to be like I don't know, like a sixth value of USD. So I don't know if that's like $9 a month or it's going to be like 9 whole, sausages or whatever. Sausages a month. I don't really know what the valuation of that is in Polish money, because generally speaking, trusting the Polish is the terrible decision. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Qiāngxiá is in a good place right now. And let's see. So tomorrow we are going to be working on Super SS Mortis. We're going to be working on that, and we're going to. I'm not going to say like finish it up. I'm going to say that I'm going to try to get it into a workable state, because my time is rapidly running out on that game, and simply because it's a game jam game, and sometimes game jam games sometimes you just don't got time with them. Sometimes you just exchange time for other things, and that time is kind of coming to a close. Like, I only have about 2 weeks left on it, but like overall, like this is done. Like the actual like combat system, I'm feeling pretty good at. It's very lethal, very unfun, but it should work. I just need to get the car system and some of the exterior mechanics done. You know, like combat. Once combat is done, feeling pretty good about it. It's a weird game, but it's a game I think could work pretty well. For the games currently on the list, not notes. Actually, I should talk about this while I'm here, because I can do that, because this is how I roll. So I did add a few new games to the list. Most notably, I have this one, the RNG-less war game, which I should technically move down here to the non-TTRPG ideas, which someone did propose a caveman war game, which seems kind of ridiculous, but I can make it. I know how to do it. And a Nosgoth skirmish game. For those who don't know, I fucking love Nosgoth. I thought Nosgoth was a blast. I played it with my friends a lot. We had a blast, and we constantly meme that Nosgoth is still fucking dead. It was fun while it lasted. Was it a good game? Not really, but was it fun? Yeah, we had fun. So yeah, we also have a cyberpunk war game / skirmish game, which might be implemented into the the Coomer Ruiner game. So there's that. The only, like, the big games that kind of are on the list right now, that are on, like, potentials, we have the Utopia Wars, which is pretty much Grindcore Lancer. That was kind of the entire idea behind it. By Blade and Cross is going to be a Lumen game, but it's going to be me doing a Lumen game, so it's going to not be a Lumen by the end of it, because I'm a horrible human being, and I think he's a fucking charlatan. Songs of the White Carnation was the Corto Maltese armored riverboat adventure game, which I finally got it. I think I finally got the understanding of how to make that game work. But it's going to be a weird game. So that might be regulated to a weekend game, just over the course of months, me just plucking away at it. Let's see. Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil was going to be almost all about Viking generational farming. Simply because other games don't do it and I want it, so I'm going to make it. Down here, one thing I wanted to do this year, and I can kind of go into it a little bit more. I want to do more skirmish games. I want to do more war games. I kind of want to expand my horizons in that regard. Kind of, expand my resume, you could say. Just kind of let me do some more things. So the two games, they're two skirmish games, but it's kind of more of like a proof of concept of like, this is what I want to do, and this is how I plan on doing it. And it's pretty much, Glitter Break is very much going to be it's a magical girl game. That's the joke. It's a magical girl game, but it's a skirmish game, because I've not actually seen a skirmish magical girl game, which you would think that'd be like a pretty obvious one, but not really. But there's also a reason why I just want to make a dedicated Mahou Shoujo game was on the list, because I really couldn't find any that wasn't originally like a superhero game, or like, kind of like it's a generic system with just, you can be a magical girl in it, ha ha ha. Or it was like a Madoka. I'm like, that's like the one requirement I have for myself, is don't make it Madoka. There's going to be absolutely zero edge. There's going to be absolutely zero dark and gritty reimagining. It's going to be silly. It's going to be a little over the top, and it's going to be all about, it's just like, oh no, go Glitter Force. let's beat the bad guy, and then you shoot them with your magic gun. Not a real gun, your magic gun that shoots hearts or whatever. I don't fucking know. That's kind of the idea. Lisa is almost on the exact opposite spectrum of that. That was supposed to be like, I've had Badlands Rumble in my head for a very long time. And it was all because of one thread on TG that it's been in my head for. And you can actually even see right up here. Like, yeah, like I've had it, like I've had this idea for this for a while. And it's I know how to do it. It's about doing it at this point. But yeah, no, it's I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're gonna make good progress on this one. I don't know how long Qiāngxiá is actually gonna take. Because Qiāngxiá, it really boils down to how this turns out. Because I'm gonna have to rewrite it effectively from the ground up, just with the same ideas. If it turns out, if it goes quickly, I can expect this to be probably about 4 episodes. If that goes incredibly slowly, it might be 5 or 6. It might be the rest of the month, by just virtue of just taking time. But yeah, no, that's the current setup. So, let's see. Tomorrow is going to be a stream on YouTube, and we're going to be finishing up Super SS Mortis. And the week after that, on the 22nd, is we're going to do the Curious Case of franchise games, the Funky Fresh 80s. So hopefully everyone enjoys that. So thank you all very much. Godspeed, good luck, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Sayonara.